Morning, folks. It's Wednesday. It's the 18th of February. I've got 3 diary entries to read to you this morning. 2 from yesterday and 1 for today. I didn't do it yesterday because we did Corned Beef Hash yesterday, didn't we, folks? Yes, we did. So I'll just quickly read through these as quick as I can. Before I start, I don't know if you can see that right well. Katie, what's with your handwriting? I don't know. Hi, Simon. My name is Katie and I am one of the physios. Today I have listened to your chest and we have done some exercises. Not me being a bad reader, that is Katie and her handwriting. Keep going, Katie. Excuse me. Again on 17th February. Hi Simon, it's Charlotte again. I looked after you for a few weeks. Start that again. Hi Simon, it's Charlotte again. I looked after you a few weeks ago. You look so much better today. It's nice to see you awake and have a little chat with you. Chat? Good thing I couldn't speak. You were supposed to go for a CT scan today, but didn't need it in the end, so we didn't need to go. Bear that one in mind. We changed the bed into a chair position for a little bit, which you said made a change. You are doing so well. Keep up the positive vibes, Charlotte. No, they didn't take me for a CT scan because there were concerns over a bit of blood in my urine. I don't know if that one now or earlier, but anyway, for whatever reason, they didn't do the CT scan on the 17th of February. They did do it a few weeks later, which I will tell you about when we come to that time. But that was the 17th of February. Let's move on to the 18th. Good afternoon, Simon. My name is Amy and I have looked after you today. Today the doctors are impressed with how you are progressing and we have managed to reduce down some of the support from the ventilator. This morning we worked with the physios and we sat up at the edge of the bed for the first time. By we, she means me. You felt a little bit dizzy, but that soon passed. We're hoping to get you sat out in a chair in the next few days. This afternoon we removed the arterial line in your arm and put another one in the other arm as it began to bleed a little. We're hoping to try a speaking valve when your family visit. Now then, a speaking valve basically took the pipe out of my throat and put this, a cuff, as they call it, in, which made me sound like that, and everything I said was like that. Didn't have him for very long to start with, like a minute or 2, but then progressed up. But that's that. So I told you about the VAX. Now the VAX, I said I was going to tell you about it and I will. The VAX is vacuum assisted support, basically. And what it is a dressing that covers your wound and forms a seal. Now, this seal is then vacuum packed, so it sucks down, and then there's a pipe that goes in. It's your wound's packed with sort of like a spongy sort of thing, and then you've got a pipe that goes in and it sucks the nastiness out. Now the one I had, and here's the mad thing about it all, I would obviously have been down to theatre 9 times. And at some point, one of the tissue viability nurses, who basically keep an eye on wounds and one thing or another, turned around and went, "We've got that machine in cupboard. We've had it 2 years and we've never used it. Wonder if that would work." Now, they do use vacs on a day-to-day basis at Barnsley Hospital, but this one that she was talking about is ever slightly different in the fact that it's a lot bigger, and it also has a saline pack attached to it. So what that does, the smaller ones just have the suction. The bigger one has the saline on it, which basically every couple of hours it'll put an amount of water in, about a saline. I think at the most I had 150 ml. It'll put that in to your wound and the material that's in there and soak it and cleanse it, and then it'll suck it out. This is the machine and all the gubbins that comes with it. This is, as you can see on this side, on the left hand side as you look at it, is where the saline pouch goes. That can be changed as and when. And on the right hand side is the, well, we could call it waste matter, the stuff that's pulled out. Without going into too much detail, all I can say it looks like cold tea that's been brought out. Now, this were on a big stand, like a drip stand type of thing, outside at bed, and pretty much immobile while ever. Mind you, I weren't going anywhere anyway at that point in time. I'd only just sat on the edge of bed for the first time in 4 weeks. 5 weeks, however long I've been in hospital by then. But it did the job. Now, the thing is, as I said, they had the actual vax machine for 2 years, never used it, but they had to go to their powers that be to get it signed off that they could use it on me, because the packs that they put on, the dressings that they put on, I'd have to defer to Vicky on this, but I believe they were in the region of £250, £300 per dressing. Yeah, a lot of money. But what you've got to factor in is the amount of times I've been down to the theatre, and if they wanted me to go to theatre every time they needed something, then £250 for a dressing 2-3 times a week, as opposed to paying for the theatre, the surgeon, the consultant, the nurse, the anaesthetist, the everything involved, then in that respect it was cheaper to have the vac. So yeah, they put me on a vac, and it did the trick. The rate in which my wound was healing and closing and new flesh, because as I said, at the worst point it was 30 odd centimetres across. I mean, from sort of like my belly button here all the way around, and you have to apologise, I'll put weight back on, from round here where the scar starts all the way down to here, it was 30 odd centimetres. It was 20 centimetres, 30 centimetres, well, 22 centimetres, I think, the biggest that way, and then deep at one point they exposed my bowel. So it was a big old Grand Canyon of a wound. But the vac machine worked wondrous jobs in healing my flesh, growing new flesh, in keeping it clean and keeping it sterile. And it took, when the first had it on and I was first aware of them changing it, it used to take them about an hour and a half to change the dressing, to take the old vac off and put the new one in. As I say, packing it full of this spongy sort of stuff, and then this like clothy material sort of stuff, and then sealing it and making sure there was a seal around it. And yeah, took an hour and a half at first. By the end, it took them half an hour. It was miraculous. It really was. The tissue viability team, amazing set of people. It really was. And every time they came, the medical photography team came. So there were lots and lots and lots of photos taken of the progression of my wound or one thing or another. Now, I haven't seen any of these photos. I have an open invitation from TVN that at any point, if I want to go in, I can go and I can sit and I can look and we can talk about everything. I'm a long way off wanting to see them yet. A long way off. I'm not. I can sit and look at other people's injuries, but it's a funny thing when it comes to yourself. I was watching a true crime thing a couple of months ago, and for whatever reason, there's suddenly, this bloke had necrotizing fasciitis, and it showed a photo of his leg, and that was it. I turned the telly off and burst into tears. And it was only a small little thing on his leg. So Lord only knows what mine looked like. But anyway, I signed a load of waivers, giving them permission to actually use the photographs and to use me, because I was the first person in Barnsley to go on this big machine. So I've signed waivers for the hospital to use my photos and one thing or another. TVN are wanting to do, they've been in touch since I come out of hospital and they wanted me and Vicky to go on film and talk about it. Yet to hear back from that. The woman who represented the company that met the VAT machine, she was wanting to write something about it. As I say, I've signed off. Do it. Absolutely 100% do it. If me recovering like I have with the help of that machine and them gaining the knowledge in what that machine can do and the dressings and everything can do, if that can go to help other people, do it. With my full backing, do it. If it's the one small thing that comes from me out of this, then do it. I did hear that after I'd left, there were a young chap went in. I don't think he had neck fash, but he had some sort of injury and a big wound, and they're using the big machine on him then. So yeah, it looks like me has been sort of like a big stride forward in Barnsley General Hospital and their methods of looking after folk with big wounds. So yeah, Sam and yeah, NHS, big yeah to the NHS, without whom I genuinely wouldn't be here. So that's what a VAT machine is and does. I did eventually come off the big one onto the smaller one once my wound had got small enough, which meant that it were in a little bag and I could put the strap around my neck, and by the time I were on my Zimmer frame and my stroller and one thing or another, I could walk about with it. I meant I were mobile. Well, apart from a couple of times I forgot to detach it from my bed rail and started walking off, and yeah. Also a couple of times when I managed to put pipe out. The weird thing is, I wasn't allowed to change, well at first, on the big machine at least anyway, I wasn't allowed to change the receptacle that gathered the stuff that were drawn out. And only certain nurses were, so it'd start beeping saying it was full, so I'd press my button, they'd come and they'd have to go and out, get somebody, 9 times out of 10, the person that they got had never seen this machine before. So I had to lay in bed. So, well, you need to press that button to stop it. You need to undo that switch on top so it, you know, close that valve and that valve so you can unattach that tube, and mad. But it worked. And it worked also well. As I say, I'm sat here now. Still not 100% closed, my wound. It literally is like about 1 millimetre big now. But they did say the final bit is the bit that takes the longest. So that's where we're at. That's the vac machine. That's like my little tale of a vac machine. So yeah, corned beef hash. As always, went down a treat. I made the best corned beef hash in the world. I forgot to take any photos of it yesterday. That's what's left, and it's currently still in the slow cooker on the warm setting. So I might have a bit of that later. I mean, pardon the pun, I'm in the doghouse with our Baxter. I'd had the back door open for them both. I've shut the back door and come back in the room, and our Bella's laid on the sofa, and I'm thinking, well, where's he? Yeah, I'd shut him outside, poor lad. So he's got a grump on with me now. They'll not last. So yeah, a bit long again today, but that's how it is. I think I'll watch a bit more at Winter Olympics. Until I see you again tomorrow, I will bid you farewell. TTFN. Why aren't you working?